Hello, I'm Muath Masri. I'm a principal at Charles River Associates based in the London office. Today, I'm part of a panel on a very interesting topic, which is about private equity and whether the current antitrust regime is fit to deal with the concerns that have been raised in the US, but also in Europe and the UK about private equity. So I start by going back to the basics and setting out the private equity business model, which is fundamentally that there are these funds that invest in companies, and it's usually transactions that are highly leveraged, so involving a great amount of debt, and they use the money from the business to generate steady cash flows to repay back the debt, but also hoping to add some value so that they can sell it 5 to 7 years later at a higher price. And with that in mind, I then discussed the economic literature and what it says about the impact of private equity deals from an antitrust perspective. And the upshot there is that the literature is quite mixed in terms of its impact. So, for example, the impact on consumers seems to depend on whether the market they're active in, whether the market that the acquired target is active in is highly competitive in the first place, in which case transactions do not seem to impact consumers negatively. And in terms of the concerns that are raised by private equity deals, there seems to be some very serious concerns. For example, when transactions are taking place in the healthcare sector or the education sector, there might be a drive to cut costs at the expense of the quality of care or education being provided. But strictly speaking, these may not be antitrust concerns, and they may be best dealt with using other tools. In terms of antitrust, it seems that private equity deals raise concerns that are common to other types of deals. For example, the acquisition of small targets that may not be picked up by the antitrust regime. That has been raised about private equity, but also rightly raised about digital platforms, for example. The potential competition and nascent competition story is very prevalent there. There are also concerns about common and cross ownership, but again, those kinds of concerns are also common to other types of deals. So the upshot is the current antitrust regime seems well suited to deal with the traditional antitrust concerns because they are not specific to private equity deals, but there is a conversation to be had as to whether the broader social concerns can be dealt with in using other tools.